Hello everyone who has clicked on the video and continued into the jungle. It's Billy Cultist back in the jungle, or at least the sort of partially created jungle that we got going from last time. Now, I got some bad and good news right out of the gate that we're gonna talk about before we continue straight into making the jungle again and added more details to it, as where we left off last time. And I'll do the bad news first, because the bad news, make way for the good news at the end. The bad news is going to be that, well, there's not going to be any Tears of the Kingdom this week. I said last week, when I was making this jungle, that we were going to alternate, and there's going to be Tears of the Kingdom this week, so this should have been a Tears of the Kingdom video. But, unfortunately, there is some business going on with the Switch. It is in a state of hold-up this week, so no Tears of the Kingdom this week. There will, though, be Tears of the Kingdom next week, or at least I hope, at this rate. Until then, though, yeah, we're going to do the jungle instead, and there will be the normal Elden Ring as well. So, it's time to now start back where we left off on this thing, which was, if I'm not mistaken, I was adding in this stuff. I'm going to turn this studio lighting on so that we don't, it's a little easier. Well, we're adding this stuff, but we're in here. I wish this would do this with, when you get in, I wish we could just, I guess I can't remember, I don't know, maybe I'm asking too much. We want to keep, I would like to just have the color be there, though, that I was using before, when I enter the painting without having to, but anyway, we were just going to do this. I think basically. What you do is you put this stuff on, and then you imposter it. I went over this in the last video. Now, in between my ranting about AI and creativity and different things. So here we are adding these kind of undergrowth, mosses, clovers, ground cover stuff. And we're basically doing this in a artistic, impressionistic kind of way. It's a low-def kind of way of doing this. I don't generally go... You can do, like, a really high-def approach. There's some people in Dreams that do that, and they're quite, I guess, renowned for that. They will go through and they will... Basically, these little plants, they would go and actually make them in detail. And it's like, oh, look, you could see every little leaf on the clover! Woo! Which, visually, I've seen some that are... They're pretty stunning, all right. One thing I would estimate, though I haven't actually got necessarily any super proof, like it's not been groundedly proven or whatever. I haven't actually tried this, but I would guess that when you do those, you might run into problems if you wanted to make an actual game with it. That is, you could make an actual game with it, I would surmise. The thing is, you'd have to be real careful about all kinds of other things. Be careful and mindful in your balancing of size, like of the game. Like I tell you one thing you're definitely not going to do with that kind of approach. A big fat open world, or even a very large world, not even a full open world, but you're probably not going to do a very large scene that way, because that stuff's going to blow up something. It's just bound to. All those little plants in high def, that's just going to blow through the roof. Probably even a PS5, it's not going to work out perfect. Now, I'm going to get out of this just real quick and show you. See this? I've been getting this warning. Now, I don't know. This warning, Dreams is a little weird, because we got this warning last time I saw it. It says sculpts. And when I went in to look at it, hit a limit. Some sculpts have stopped drawing because too many overlapping sculptures are visible at once. That's what is going on, apparently, right here from this view. Which apparently, you can, like in here, it's not happening because it goes away. But, let's see, it's not there. Okay, so there we go. We had it right there. There it is. So from this view, we're getting the same problem. Too many sculpts are visible at once. And this is a little mystifying to me. Because, frankly, I have had about this many sculpts on screen before. I never got this warning. So it's a little bit weird to me. I wanted to start drawing this stuff on the ground before we put even more trees in here. Because then it gets really annoying to have to draw this stuff in between all the trees and maneuver your camera around. But yeah, that sculpture warning, I'm not sure. And when I look at it, I'm going to go back and look at that just a second. Let's find it again. Okay, so this view, what it said was some of the sculpts aren't drawing properly. I don't notice anything not drawing. Nothing appears different. Like when I zoom in and out, I'm not noticing anything materializing or dematerializing. Like I would expect it would manifest as some kind of pop-in or something, where it's like, oh look, a couple of those are no longer drawing because there's too many. I'm not seeing that. Please, if you see that, put in the comments your findings. Say what you've seen. Say what you've seen on screen. Because I can't see it from here. I don't know what that warning's about. And here's the thing, Dreams just... sometimes it does seem a little bit finicky and silly. Like, it does do this sometimes. It gives warnings about something that doesn't seem to actually be occurring. It could be that. Maybe Dreams is just being funny. Either that or I'm blind, and I don't see it. Anyway, you just put a little more of this mossy cover. Maybe we don't want to put it everywhere. Like, maybe I'm getting a little too heavy with it. But it is a jungle. We want a lot of growth there. That's a decent level of it. I think I might go ahead and put some around the outsides too, out here. What we'll do too, as we go, as you notice, as I've gone further in. Well, there's a little up there too. This area. You can change the scale to give a little variation. But as I've gone further in, generally the scale I've put like smaller strokes in more where your player's going to be walking around. And I'm gonna use some bigger. We'll scale it up quite a bit out here because you're not gonna be out here, and we just want some generalized growth and greenery out here. We don't have to be so concerned about the scale necessarily. It's just to look. You know, we got some growth. We got some foliage. Is that going okay there? Yeah, that's fine. This is one of those... Like when I was building the ground tiles, this is kind of one of those tedium events. You really just have to get through it. Sometimes it helps to have music. Of course, we'll add some music to this video. I don't know, Marty will probably just tack whatever he tacked in the last one on there. Because Marty's I'm not going to start dissing Marty during this. Marty really helps a lot. Although, we all have interesting qualities, and one of Marty's interesting qualities is he tends to be a bit... I don't want to strictly say lazy about editing, but let's just say the man doesn't like to overwork himself on editing. So, more often than not, and I can understand that, I'm a strong proponent of not overworking oneself. I definitely don't think that's a good thing. That'll hurt your ability. It'll help it too sometimes to work. I mean, it'll help your ability to work, but to overwork, it'll nip your bottom. In terms of, yeah, you get exhausted. You get, and I'm trying to put it in YouTube safe terms. You get stressed, then your creativity will suffer. So do not overwork yourself. Do not underwork yourself. Do not overwork yourself, though. But anyway, I got on a Marty tangent there. But Marty's a good guy. He's really helpful. I don't know where we'd be without Marty. We'd have to edit it all ourselves. Anyway, we got that. I'm trying to remember what I was talking about before, Marty. Something about something. Something about growth, foliage. Anyway, we got that. That's pretty well done. I'll take a look from the inside. Let's go to the playtesting, play it out, see what it looks like. This is about the edge of the scene. Yeah, that's, see, so you're not going to be able to walk in there, so that's about fine, really. You're not going to be walking in there. By the way, if you hear a lot of noise in the background, there is kind of some construction going on in the compound today. So, don't fret about that, because they're putting up a new outbuilding, and they're doing it, what I hear is they're doing it in the style of decor. The decor is in the style of Cobra Commander and the Lord of the Werewolves, and I forget his name, but it's Cobra Commander and the Lord of the Werewolves is the theme for our new outbuilding. We have about 8 outbuildings so far because one of our members really enjoys building outbuildings for some reason. So, but you know, there's a lot of members, so outbuildings are helpful tools in the long run. But you know, the style of Cobra Commander combined with that of the Werewolf Lord. So that's interesting. But that's also the source of any noise you might hear in the background. Also, there's also, what do I usually say? We don't have the air conditioner on today. It's actually reasonably, temperate. Although it probably won't be for a while after a while, since this... Yeah, that's looking decent. I'm just kind of walking the edge here to make sure that I like the aspect at all angles here. This is the rough edge. And this is our, well, play area. But in terms of noise, you also might hear it. There's Jimmy's PS4 Pro is going. That sometimes makes a lot of noise. And then, that also makes heat, which is probably gonna eventually, after a while, heat this room up. So that the air conditioner probably will have to maybe come back on during Elden Ring? I don't know. Anyway, though, I guess we have some virtual reality. If things get muggy in here, that's just like the real jungle. Maybe that'll help me. Yeah, that thing's still floating up there. We're gonna put those plants. That's the next thing we'll probably do. Well, this looks good. Actually, no, that's not the next thing we'll do. Okay, we gotta exit to test. Okay, there we go. Test, exit. Turn off. Pause time. Okay. I'll just rewind it too, just because. So... we got these plants, but I'm not going to start putting these plants around before. We got to get some distant weather patterns. Well, not actually, I'm kidding. We're not going to have weather patterns in this scene, but we're going to put some... we got to get some more trees out there. And something I'm going to do, I'm debating in my mind whether I will do... I think I won't. I think I'm going to be lazy this time around. Speaking of Marty and stuff. But I think we're going to forego the thing. Something I use. Sometimes I'll do is I'll build like a special background stand of low-def trees. I don't know if I'll do that this time. I think we could get away with just using the foreground trees, except what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do some optimization on them. I don't think we need those on them. We'll take off the vines, and we'll take off the extra paint. It's kind of optimizational. Another thing we can do... I'll just go ahead and fully do this. We'll get into these sculpts here. And what I'm going to do is just take a little bit of color off that. Just so... I'm just going to do this once. Like that. Just make a cut. And what that's going to do is I'm going to do the same with the top too. Like that. Now you'll notice we got an added percentage to the thermo for that. I'm actually surprised we didn't get the added percentage when I did it to the lower half. But what that did, these are now considered separate and new sculpts because that little notch I put in them from the rest of the forest, these trees, they're now a separate new sculpt. And that's going to allow me to take my detail tool. And for these outer trees, I am going to... yeah, we're on reduce. And I'm going to reduce it way down until we get into the blue. And it's going to get significantly lower definition, but that's fine. Because it's beyond the boundaries where we can walk up and take a real good look at it. Yeah, we're going to get loose like that. That way, see, we got these outer trees optimized down. Okay. And I can put a bunch of these out here, and it won't be a massive problem in terms of optimization. Because we need some distant trees in the background here. Probably going to need some even more distant trees. Not sure. I might need to be doing something different with the can. See, okay, here's the thing with these canopies. Let me get in. I talked about this in the first video in terms of certain things, but it's not quite a big deal on the PS5. But just because I know everybody's not on a PS5, we need to take a look at this stuff. We need to be mindful of this stuff. So, okay, so you can see here. I did talk about this in the first video. That red at the line of the terrain there, that is because of that impastoed mulch stuff. That is the overdraw. And in some areas there where it's getting yellow, it's quite hot. The predator vision is showing that. And, well, up in the leaves, it's still not really that bad. It would probably run okay-ish on a PS4. I don't know. I think it would. Gotten away with some things like that. The concern, though, is if I start adding... I got an idea. This is what we can do. This makes perfect sense. Okay, I'm going to delete some of these, couple of those outer trees we added just so that we get everything on the right page. I'm going to go into the foliage at the canopy and let's get rid of that impasto on this tree entirely, and the looseness probably. Make sure it's on reduce. Yeah, that way that's completely off. That will probably help with that business. Because it's that impasto and overdraw, that creates a lot of that, so... And these outer trees, like I said before, they're on the outside, so we don't need to be so concerned about how they look. Because you're only ever going to see them from a distance. You're never going to get that close to them. So here we go. Stick that in there, like so. Only thing I'm a little bit not quite pleased about is that crease, or not crease, but that seam there between the two. It's kind of showing up more than I would like it to. I wonder if I could fix that. See about that. See, that's a little better. Yeah, okay, that's a little more hidden there. That's much better. I'll leave it on the other two. I don't care. Two of them are like that. That'll be fine. What we'll do though, here we go. We're just gonna keep putting trees around here around the outside. Those are pretty tall. I guess that's not really gonna hurt because they're around the outside. Kind of making them bigger just for the sense of distance and stuff, but we can lower it down a little bit. Here and there. We'll just have to go through and add. Position them. I'm kind of positioning them roughly equidistant. I know that's not exactly natural, but... Okay, so here's what we gotta keep going. I think we're in for another tedium bout. My friends, more tedium. I'm gonna have to start yelling about AI. I pretty much covered AI and my thoughts on it. I don't really have much more to say on it in the last modeling video, the first one. By the way, like and subscribe if you've made it this far. You like this kind of thing? Well, there's gonna be more. At least that's the plan. So go ahead and subscribe. Hit the bell and all that stuff. And give us a like. Likes drive up if you have something to say too, put a comment. That all drives up the algorithm or whatever. Shows YouTube that we matter. We matter to someone. But anyway, yeah, do all that good stuff. You can also support us. We have methods at which you can do that monetarily. If you get down into the description, we have a coffee. You can do a monthly supporter thing where you get your name and credits and stuff on certain videos. Like, I think I will put the coffee supporters in this particular video. We tend to put the supporters credits for the bronze level, which, by the way, that's the only level we've got on coffee at the moment. We'll put them on the Dreams videos. We don't put them on the Let's Play videos, which I suppose we could. I think the reasoning behind that is that the Let's Plays aren't really the meat of our channel. Like, people don't really seem to come here for... Oh, let's go watch Billy and Jimmy play, Elden Ring or something, I don't know. Because there's other Let's Players. I mean, people are just, they're gonna go be like, watching somebody else who's bigger and more, I don't know, funny or something, I don't know. Somebody like, what's a big one? Not Mr. Beast. I mean, I guess he probably plays games, but I don't think he's known for his Let's Playing. He's more for that top 10 kind of like, look at this. I ate a gold car for breakfast, guys. A gold car. If you can stay stapled to the hubcap for 15 minutes, you win $10,000. Oh my gosh. What? Oh, wow. That kind of thing. So not really Let's Plays. So, who does the really big Let's Plays? I'm trying to think of a name. I know there's plenty of people. Asmongold. There's a guy that does Let's Play. I don't know if he Let's Played Elden Ring, but I would surmise he does Let's Play kind of stuff. I've seen some of his. Probably does have an Elden Ring one. But you know, like that. You go and you watch somebody who does something big. And they're a seasoned Let's Player, and I don't know, they're more funny to watch their Let's Plays. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people come here more for the dreams, for this kind of stuff. Like, I want to see Billy build a jungle and dreams. That's probably also because I've noticed this too. You probably have noticed this, but it's not easy. Like, I mean, I'm not saying there's not other people that make stuff in dreams out there, but it's hard to find some dreams content on YouTube too. I mean, you want a very specific type, maybe. I don't know how many people there are that do what I'm doing in dreams. Honestly, I don't know. I don't feel like I've seen a lot, but then again, I don't actually search a lot of dream stuff on YouTube. I went over this before too. It's because, you know, it's like I'm too busy getting in there myself and messing around to be searching it up. But now there's been a couple occasions. I'm going to tell you a story now. This is a good way to spend the time. Way back when Dreams first came out, like way back, 2020, whatever, the beta, we were right on that bus. We had the beta downloaded the first day and everything. It was ready to go. We were right in there. That was a big day because we were really ready for Dreams. We knew about it coming out and everything. We knew it was on the way, and we thought, oh, that's a cool idea. And, you know, we had some experience with the LBP stuff, and Dreams, when we heard about that, I'm going to do a brief little look through here. Playthrough just to see what we got visually. That's nice. Okay, see, it's starting to shape up. We got to go to the edges, though, to make sure. See, as you get to the edges, it gets a little less. But, you know, we've pretty much covered that ground between the far distance and the foreground. That mid-ground area. And in the far distance, we could just use some kind of paint or something if we want. We could do something to make those giant trees going off into a, look more infinitive. But back to my story about Dreams. We were in the early beta days, and I took it into my mind. By the way, you can check this out if you're on Dreams, because I have the scene. I took it into my mind to do a beach scene. And I was like, I want to make a beach scene with, the beach, and it's, like a pleasant, like, kind of Cape Cod, or like, I don't know, Maine, Stephen King, something where there's the beach, and it's, I don't know, Anne of Green Gable. I don't know what to compare it to, but, it's that kind of New England beach at summer kind of vibe going on with that. And I want to, have the waves coming up, the surf coming up on the shore, and that kind of thing. And at the time, it's like you get all these ideas, and I'm thinking to myself, well, I don't know exactly how to do that in Dreams. Like, how would you do that rolling surf rolling in, And the surf, it rolls in all along the beach, and I'm going to have this long beach that extends along the scene, and how am I going to make this surf? So at the time, I was kind of naive, and I was like, well, Dreams, there's all kinds of people on here. Now, Jimmy and me had this attitude. When Dreams came out, we were really excited, because we were like, well, there's going to be a bunch of people. I don't know if I need to add more of these, or if we're good to go on this. Maybe a few more, here and there. Well, there's going to be tons of people. on Dreams, and they're going to be contributing all their knowledge. And, this idea, we were like, well, there's so many, there's a lot of creative people out there, really smart people, and they're going to all be contributing, and there'll be all this stuff. Media Molecule hyped this kind of thought process up, too, because they're like, everybody's going to contribute and make everybody's life happier. It's going to be so easy. If you need something, you can just go find it and borrow it from somebody else. Yay! And it's like, well, that sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Because then you don't have to do all that work necessarily. You can just build your scene, right? So, it wasn't like that, suffice to say. I was searching around. First, I did the thing where I was searching around in Dreams. I was like, well, surf. Maybe somebody's already made this, and I don't have to worry. No, nobody made anything comparable to what I wanted. There was a few attempts, but they were pretty pathetic, in my opinion. And not just in my opinion, actually. They were also just pathetic in point of fact. And I'm not blaming the people, It's a hard deal, as I found out. Because guess what? After searching around and not finding anything, this paradise that Media Molecule had hyped me up for didn't exist in Dreams, where it was like, oh, you can just go find somebody else's. No, I had to be a trailblazer, and I had to go make it myself. I had to struggle with that. And if you want to see the very early fruits of I'm sure at this time maybe people have made some really, really far outstanding surf effects. Because we've come a long way in Dreams, it's been a long time, but that, and frankly, this is my take on it too. It may sound a little egotistical, but I just think it's just blatantly true. At that time, I don't think there was anybody actually there that had as good of a system for surf. If you want to see the scene, by the way, you can search Lobster Ranch. That's the scene, and it's still there. I still have it up public. You can go still enter it and see the surf and everything in action. And, maybe if you're interested, maybe sometime I'll go and do a little walkthrough of that scene. And we can talk about... You know what? I'll tell you what I'll do. We're gonna cut out of this briefly, and I'm gonna go into Lobster Ranch. And we're gonna take a little look at it so you know what I'm talking about, okay? And keep in mind, this scene was made back in the very early, 2020, beta days of Dreams, so... it might not be all that technically amazing, although I think it still holds up pretty well. It's stylistic, too, and that probably helps a lot. That, I always think, helps, and that's why I encourage that. But anyway, we're going to cut now and go out there for a brief moment. We'll get back to this in a second. Okay, so here we are in my old scene from, 2020, whatever, early beta days, like I was saying, of Dreams. Lobster Ranch, and as you can see, I got this kind of New England thing going on. You got this dirt road leading up to this... It's like an abandoned or a closed seaside hotel, cottage. I don't know what you call it. It's like one of those Agatha Christie things, I guess, where you'd have a murder happen there. Oh, maybe about... Speak of. Sammy Seal, Play some Sammy Seal games. They're kind of like that. I mean, they don't use this setting, but it's kind of the Agatha Christie kind of... But anyway, here you go. As far as the surf, here's the beach. We can go down on the beach. And here you got the surf going on. Now, I turned off the music for this little runaround I'm doing because I don't know, I forget who did the music. I just kind of used it freely. They're credited in the thing. If you want to play this, like I said, you can play. I think I even made this remixable. So if you want to get in this and mess around with it, that's possible too. But really old bit of history. Here we got the jellyfish air balloons are going to come over. That's another feature I added. But really, here's the surf. And at the time, I am pretty positive this is the darn tootin' best surf there was in Dreams. At the time. Now, by now, there's probably something much better. But I'm also a little suspicious. And, not to get really, weird and antsy. But it's funny because once I made this, and I also made this scene remixable, I noticed a bunch of scenes popping up, it seemed like, with surf. And it was eerily similar. Now, of course, I'm not blaming anybody. Obviously, that was supposed to be the point, Dreams, you're supposed to, there go the jellyfish. You're supposed to be able to remix and, And I'm happy for those people if they did remix my surf. You know, they didn't have to work hard like I did, so save them some trouble. But I really do think at the time, this was some of the best surf in Dreams. This is a nice view still. Even today. This is still a... Oh, by the way, we got this little shack over here. I know I'm kind of derailing the video a little with this tour here. We're supposed to be building on this jungle, but, you know, this is a history lesson. Or something. Here we got this little shack. You know, and, you know, maybe the techniques aren't as flashy as something you'd see today on Dreams, but early days, prototyping, trailblazing, forging ahead. That was me. And there's that surf. And I did that all myself. I didn't have any help. I wasn't able to find any tutorials or anything to help me out, which was a pain in the butt, I must say. I think we'll probably have to go back. I'll walk up on the porch here just a second. Kind of around under here. Just to... I don't know, maybe you're enjoying this. I don't know. We'll just walk through here just a little bit. But you can check this out on your own time if you want. Like I said, it's playable, fully remixable. And, you know, maybe with the music you'll enjoy it even more. But we'll just head over... Okay, we'll cut and go back to the jungle. Okay, so we're back at our jungle. And, oh, by the way, something I just noticed, now that we're in here, I got a lot of these, and I got no stumps. I think we ought to put a few more stumps in here, like this one. So I'm going to just kind of try to spozzle out a few of those while we're at it. But anyway, you saw that lobster ranch. And you saw what I was talking about, and how that relates to my story, you know. I had to do it myself. And I was saying, there is just... Sometimes you want to find, like, a tutorial or something to help you out with something particular. And I know, you know, sometimes you just can't. Sometimes they're just, what? Sometimes it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like, I want to know how to do a basic thing that you probably might see come up a lot in making games or whatever in here. You know, like, I need to make a surf. Because, you know, an ocean, that could be a pretty popular setting that might come up. And it's like, you just can't find it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to do it myself. What a pain. And there's no tutorials. People don't... I really haven't noticed a lot of people... I may be missing them, of course. I don't check it too much, but... As far as I know, I don't know of too many people besides ourselves who do things like what I'm doing right now, where they're just building stuff in Dreams and showing you how to do it. I'm not too aware. I think maybe that one dude... He's quite large. Saku's Mind. I don't know if he's still active or not. I think he kind of did things like this sometimes. I'm not sure what the format was and all that stuff. But like I said, I just don't think there's a lot. So, I think that's probably one of the reasons people watch us, though. Maybe. You know, you let us know. I mean, I know there's some people who've already let us know. Let us know. What makes you, watch us over other... Dreams creators. I've heard some people say a few things. Marty's related some stories. People say that we are... I don't know, what would be the word? Intuitive? Easier to follow? Which, by the way, that's... that's a pleasant surprise to me. I would, if I had to guess, I would think that I wasn't easy to follow, because when I talk and do this stuff, it seems like I'm all over the place. Going every which way, but... Yeah, if that's what people find it easy to follow, that's good. Anyway, we got a few stumps. Maybe we don't want to get too many stumps. Maybe a little too many stumps won't be any good. But anyway, there we go with the stumps. Now the next thing to do, what we're going to have to do is I think we're going to have to go in and change this backdrop. Because it's too bright blue, and I want really a feeling of being deep in the jungle surrounded by the woodlands and stuff. We're going to turn this fleck shade randomness stuff down. I usually do that. I like the fleck type typically for myself to be on this speckly type. I find I like that. Let's go through the backgrounds and see if we can find something really suits our purpose here. That's kind of neat looking in a way, but it's not quite what I was wanting. I want something a little more green. Yeah, that's a little more like what I would probably like to have on here. Also, I'm going to turn down this horizon because I don't think that needs to be real high. Let's move this around. We can also alter the color a bit to get a little more green in there. Just put a little more green. That gives you a real Amazonian feel, you know, the jungle's really green and humid. They call it green hell. Welcome to green hell. Wah! Where you'll die. You know why? There's actually a sci-fi. There's this old B-level sci-fi movie from the 50s called Monster from Green Hell. And they have these giant wasps, and they look a lot more like stag beetles, frankly. But they are supposed to be giant wasps, and they're being bred in, I don't know if it's South America or Africa, but it's like a jungle or something. And they're coming out and eating people and attacking people. It's very cheesy, but, you know, it's very fun. We enjoy that kind of thing quite a bit. I'm going to make sure this is way too big. Scale that down. It's supposed to be, I think, around, at most, like that big. We could start adding these in there, just for fun of it. I kind of feel like doing that. You gotta go with what you feel like. I mean, there's no special steps you have to actually follow when you're doing these things. You can do what you want, as you want it. Whatever feels smoothest to yourself. That's what you do, just so you get your end result. That's all. Don't get all antsy about people being like, oh, you got to do it this way. This is my step-by-step guide. You got to do it. I don't think many people do say you got to do it this way, but sometimes you get the impression when you watch a step-by-step guide that you must do it exactly this way. And I'm here to tell you that's basically bunk. If anybody actually says that. I don't think there's many people that actually even say that, but whether it's a person telling you that or it's your own inner mind telling you that you have to do it a certain way, it's bunk, because you don't. You do it whatever way feels comfortable. If you want to add the plants first or the thing first, you do that. Whatever floats the boat. Just so you get your end result, that's all. Get your end result looking good, the way you want it. That's all that matters. And I'm pretty sure if I put these little things in here... I think in my video I made sure I put... I'm going to open this tweak menu real quick. Pretty sure I put these on... Yeah, they're labeled and everything, and there should be non-collidable, yeah. You don't want to be colliding with this kind of stuff. No reason to do that. It's just undergrowth. And basically the non-collidability of such things, it serves, in the real world, think about this. You wouldn't collide with this stuff per se. It would just kind of impede you. You'd have to brush it aside. Because this wouldn't really stand in your way so much, unless, there was a real thick thicket of them. But let's take a little play test, just because I feel like I want to run around in here again. Yeah, but I'll walk, you see, and we just walk through them when they're non-collidable. Now, of course, it's like, well, in real life, they would brush aside. You'd see them brush aside as your character walked through. And if you got, if you're on Unreal Engine or doing something real fancy, that's not a thing I would recommend trying to go for in Dreams. I mean, there's ways you could do it, but it's going to jack up your thermo and all your stuff and just make you have to go through that much more misery. And it's not really that big a deal in the long run. This is looking pretty nice. I'm liking the atmosphere. That green is seeping into my blood, turning me into a giant beetle. But yeah, don't worry about that kind of stuff. If you get too antsy about that kind of stuff in Dreams, sometimes that'll make you freeze up, and you just won't get anything done, because you'll be like, well, I can't make the bushes and the grass part asunder as my character walks through them. It doesn't look real enough. Don't worry about that, because it'll be fine. Look at this. This looks fine. I mean, look, he's clipping through these. I still feel cool about this scene. This scene looks pretty neat. You could have a pretty fun time, some kind of little game in here. You know what this would make a perfect, a little arena fight. Because it's a little round, like arena, essentially. You could have Mighty Joe Young come in and fight King Kong. Because, King Kong could be the bad guy, I guess, because he's bigger. Mighty Joe Young versus King Kong in this little This might be a little too small for Mighty Joe and King Kong, frankly, but you know what I'm getting at. Something. You could have a pair of gorillas going at it. You could have a whole story. The gorillas. Name them whatever you want. One of them's Bok Choy, and the other one is, I don't know, Dr. Lucas? I'm strapped for gorilla names, but, you know, you could probably think of something more inventive than that. With a little more time. And they could come at each other right out of the, you know, from one end, and they could go to it, and you could have real knockdown fight in here. See? Anyway, let's get out of this. I'll put a few more of these, but these are looking pretty good. Oh, I flipped it. I wanted to turn off the play button there. Rewind time there. They're looking pretty nice. We're going to kind of arrange them, too. I'm going to kind of put up so the light's hitting them, because as you see over here in the shadows, they don't really get the benefit of the sun. And they really stand out in the sun, as you can see. We're getting that real interesting contrast and visual arrangement joy out of having these things visible at certain areas in the sun. And you can kind of vary the size, too, and the rotation. And we'll probably put a few... I'm still getting this sculpt overload thing, and I don't get it. I might move a couple of these around, too, here. Got these nice big ferns. Still, they're way bigger than what I'd want them to be more around that size. Just put them in there, too. And they look nice, and they're not collidable either. Yeah, because people, don't get all freaked out, and don't get stuck on this idea that you're making, like, some kind of rock star, you know, oh, I'm making, like, you know, like Red Dead Redemption 2 in Dreams, all the graphics and stuff, it's going to be right up there with the Rockstar. It's like, you don't have to do that. It'll look fine. You can make a fun game. And it'll still look cool, too. It's like all this fancy dancy stuff. It's not absolutely necessary in terms of the visual effects. I'm not saying it's bad stuff. It's, you know, it's pretty neat when a game like Red Dead or something has all that attention to detail, like you're brushing the grass aside as you move through the leaves and all that stuff's pretty neat. It's pretty neat that video games have come that far, but at the end of the day, don't get yourself stuck up worrying about that stuff. Because you can make a real fine-looking piece without all that stuff, especially here in Dreams. I guess being on this is kind of a good deal, too, because I heard recently that well, not I suppose, but kind of, but Sony has started some kind of campaign just recently in the last couple days or week or whatever to put a little attention on Dreams. They put it, I guess this would be a great time to pick Dreams up because it's free. As long as you have a PlayStation Plus subscription. Which, ironically, the funny thing about that is I no longer have a PlayStation Plus subscription. We don't here because we couldn't afford it. Because we're poor boys. But, you know, if you do have a PlayStation Plus subscription, you could very well go ahead and pick up Dreams for free right now. As far as I know. I don't know if there's a limited time on that. I don't know if it's just a week-long deal or a summer deal or some weird thing, but, you know, I would pick it up. You know, if you're the first time, you know, you might have fun creating stuff. I don't know if I can say you'll have a lot of fun playing stuff, honestly. I'm not sure about that. Now, I honestly haven't played too many Dreams games, made in Dreams myself, since it came out. There was some real cool stuff. Now, that's also, I want to say this, though, and I've said this already, I think, but I'm going to reiterate. Part of this stuff, when we don't play games in Dreams, it's not just because we're just too good for those games. Like, they're no good. Some of the games in Dreams I've seen, especially back in the old days, it seems a little less now, but back in the beta days, there were quite a few people who were, like, really trailblazing and making some interesting and kind of fun stuff in all aspects, visual and gameplay-wise, in Dreams. A lot of it's still up there, too. You could take a look at it. You know, there's one game I'll mention real quick here called... It's really old. It's back from the beta days. It's called Wilka versus the Caldera. And you can go play that, and it's it's kind of got some gameplay. It's not in a finished state. I don't believe the creator ever got to finish it fully. I think it was intended to be kind of a little adventure run, but visually it's quite amazing. I love the style. And unfortunately I forget the name of the creator. But you can go check it out. Wilka versus the Caldera. You can see who made that. And you can take a look at that. And it's really cool. And it's kind of sad they never got to finish it. I don't know why. You know, life got in the way or something. But really neat. And there's a lot of stuff like that too from the beta days especially. Some of it's actually complete. Wilka, like I said, isn't fully complete at this point, but it's still quite a what could have been experience. It's quite awesome to just run around it and look at it, what there is. But there's a lot of complete games from the beta days. Other than some of those, I really, I haven't even played some of our own games. Like Jimmy's, by the way, if you're checking out James, check out our games. They're pretty good. There's the Sammy Seal, right now it's a trilogy. I believe there's 3 games in total. And those are like kind of a point-and-click hybrid detective game style. And then you've got Meko in the Village of the Fish Folk, which is by far probably the most ambitious game that Jimmy's made in Dreams. So that's pretty fun. That thing will take you a good 4 hours at least to complete. Even if you're not going for all the collectibles and stuff that's in it. And it's pretty neat. Visually and gameplay-wise, it's pretty neat. Now, I haven't played our own games, because, it's the same with other people's games. It's it's not that they're not good games, I just don't have the time for it. I'm too busy making stuff, I'm too busy getting on here and making stuff like this, and making videos or whatever. But, if you're new to Dreams, you might check these games out, because there's some good games. And that being said, there is quite a bit of what I would just call garbage. I'm just gonna be frank, there's just quite a bit of garbage. Unfortunately, and Dreams being kind of an extension of the internet, is that really surprising to anybody? I mean, people always had these visions of the internet back before it got big, about how it was gonna be this place of just limitless knowledge and edification, and then when things really took hold, it was like, well, there's plenty of knowledge and edification on the internet, true, but for every piece of knowledge and edification, there's about 100 pieces of just garbage. So, same is kind of true of Dreams. It's like, there's good stuff, but you're going to have to wade through quite a bit of just junk. I mean, I would say the worst it gets is people basically just trying to complete the quests, which, by the way, I could go on and on about that. That's kind of Meaty Molecule's fault, in my view. I wouldn't have put... I know they were trying to appeal to the mass gamer crowd, but frankly, this kind of concept is just not... You can't do that with creativity. You can't be like, well, here's a medal. You created a thing and posted it. Here's your participation medal. You can't do that. It won't work out. See, what ended up happening is you got all these... There's now all this stuff on Dreams where people just did the bare minimum, remixed a couple of MM's assets and just kind of stuck them together in an empty, boring scene that has just nothing. And they posted it. They don't even name it. It's just like, my creation, 2020, 2021, whatever, month, date, and time. They didn't even name it. And they just posted it to get their Participation Imp Award. And that's why, I'm like, MM he shouldn't have done that, guys. I mean, I know what you were trying to do. But I could have told you. Anybody could have told. I might put one on this tree here. That's kind of a neat deal. You can do things like that. I kind of like that. It's kind of fancy. You can do some more over here. Coming out of this, we got this little stump here. That's nice. Ah, there we go. But like I was saying, they were doing that. You see? Look at this jungle. It's all starting to come together. We just need some distant background trees and stuff. We'll be pretty much there. Get some more of these on here now that I'm doing this. I wonder where our thermo's at. I might take a look at that real quick here. It's probably okay. Oh, wait, not bad. 11 graphics. 4 gameplay, that's decent. We can get by on that. Okay, so there we go. But yeah, I knew. I was thinking to myself, that's just not gonna work out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you don't. Sometimes you get. I get this feeling these game developer people. Sometimes they mean well. But it's kind of like Fallout 76. I think this kind of was an issue with that. I mean, aside from all the bugs and stuff I heard about, but it was like, oh, there's not going to be any story. It's just going to be the sandbox, and the players create the stories and the adventures. And it's like, well, that's a nice sounding thing on paper, but like, if you've ever played an MMO, you know, or whatever, you know what it's like. Like, you've played it. Is there people sitting around doing RP stuff? You have to go to, yeah, I mean, there is. You got to go to special servers for that, where people are really, you know, play Red Dead Online. Tell me what most people are doing. What are they doing? Right? They're running around, being idiots, shooting up the town, shooting up the people, shooting up the players. It's whatever they can do to, and then what they're really focused on is, how can I get the new diaper for my horse or whatever? Or my character, you know? I want the gold diaper, please. I'm trying to get the gold diaper. And that's all they care about. You come up and talk to them, you're like, hey, buddy, I hear you work over at blah, blah ranch. You know, if you come up to another player and you try to have a little adventure, you're like, hey, man. You know, like, say you're a really naive person, you've never played an MMO, you come up and you're like, I'm from the Double O Ranch over up the mountain. What's your business, friend? You try to play like a Western. The guy on the other end of the mic or the messages or whatever is just like, huh? What are you talking about? I'm trying to get the gold diaper, man. Get out of my way. I'll shoot you. You know, they start doing something like that. And it's just... That's how MMOs work, though. You know, that's just how most people work. That's a side effect of also most people. A lot of people just aren't creative people, at least in that respect. And they're just, you know, they're just on there doing this business. And there, with Fallout 76, people are like, well, they're going to make their own adventures, and it's going to be this, like, haven of adventure and fun made by the players. And it's like, yeah, 90% of the players are just running around, min-maxing or whatever. They're not there to roleplay. I mean, like I said, there's specific servers and things on MMOs that exist for that, but that's just not how people work organically. It's just not the way it works. We've seen this time and again with the internet, with MMOs, and they thought, you know, they're like, well, people are just going to be on there being creative. And that's true, like I said, of about 10 or 20% of the people on Dreams, but the rest of the people who were on there were just... Hey, I'm just here to see. I just want to get a new imp. How can I get a new imp fast? Oh, I just make a creation and publish it. Boom. There's a brick and a sphere. Published. Okay, give me my new imp. Okay, I got all the imps. Okay, I'm done with Dreams now. Bye. And then, you know, and they leave all the garbage on the server, too. You know, it's just out there. Of course, now you can get rid of it. Now with the new server change, they could delete it, but... But, I mean, frankly, those people... That stuff's even worse than the memers. It is just... It's even worse. And I don't mind about people getting on and maybe even posting stuff that... Because I've said already about creativity. Doesn't mean you're not creative just because you're at a phase... in your career, you know, your journey where you're not very great in skill. Like, maybe you make a scene and it's kind of pathetic on the surface, you know what I'm saying? It's just, frankly, because you're not skilled yet. And you post it. You know, I made a lot of stuff in the past that I showed to people, and I would probably look back at it now and say, man, why did I ever show that to people? It's just kind of garbagey creation. I didn't do very good on it. Because now I've got more skills than I did. But, you know, that's part of how you do it. So I'm not downing anybody for like, oh, you posted something that is kind of low skill level. That's not what's bad. It's the fact that I know these other people. These people that are posting this stuff like I'm talking about, they are not doing it because they're trying to hone their craft. They're not working on anything. They're just posting this stuff because they want, like I said, the achievement unlocked or whatever. That's all they want. Okay, we got quite a few of those. Maybe we want to take it easy on that. We're still doing okay on our thermal, though. I might take a look and run around this here for a second. Oh, yes. That's quite good. I think I want to put maybe a few more of those things in, though. These things. We need to probably put a few outside, because as you notice, we're coming up and we're looking out there and we're not. We need to put a few ferns and things out there, too. But you'll notice it's starting to look really like a jungle. You'll notice that. We got a ways to go still, but we're getting there. Let's pause time. Reverso. Get ourselves situated here. Clear my throat. Anyway. Let's put some of these out yonder across the border. But anyway, as I was saying about this whole thing. Yeah, these people are clearly just posting this stuff to get their grade or whatever. It's like from the game. They're not, it's not their personal journey with creativity and arts. It's, you know, I can forgive you if you put something out that's low skill and you're just not there yet on skill, and that's not, you have to get there. Eventually you'll get there. And part of that is sometimes posting something that's low skill. We don't start perfect, or, we don't start at masterclass level on stuff we do in life. First, we gotta go through this kind of garbage phase. Now, some of us don't, and if you're a prodigy, you don't. You start, you're like 4 years old or whatever, and you're Mozart or whatever, something like that. Some of us don't, but that's like, what, 1% that do that? But, you gotta start. Take a look at some of our older stuff in Dreams. And, some of it's still pretty good. I mean, it's still pretty palatable, but go look through some of our older published stuff in Dreams. From, like, the beta days, like I was saying. And like I said, it's decent, because I started Dreams, and I was already an artist, so I didn't have that to have to overcome. I just had to kind of finish with learning how Dreams worked, more or less. But I knew something about art, so I was a little bit ahead of the curve on that. But you can still see probably a difference in, like, our older stuff versus our newer stuff if you go and play that. By the way, speaking of old games, I actually haven't personally myself... I mean, I've helped a lot with Jimmy's games. I've been part of that. But basically, I haven't actually I haven't made a ton of my own personal games, but I do have one that I put out a long time ago. It's called Space Pirate. Monsters of the Silent Sea. It's still out there. It's a little kind of third-person space sci-fi shooter type thing. Go play it. It's kind of fun. And it's still up there. But anyway, that'll also get you a look at, because I made that kind of way back in the day. Around the beta days. Anyway, though, I think we're out of time. We got quite a bit of stuff in here. I mean, it's been kind of a little tedium, but, we've covered some discussions, I guess. We've seen a few things, and I'm glad we could do it. I will be back, like I said, next week I played on doing Tears of the Kingdom. There won't be one of these next week, I don't think, unless we still have more problems with the Switch. I will be doing one of these every week once I finish one of the ongoing games. Once I finish Elden Ring. I plan on just doing one Let's Play, and then I'll do one of these every week. And we'll make different scenes. We'll do other things besides jungles. I got some ideas for what we'll do next after this jungle is done. But anyway, stay tuned. And definitely, if you made it all the way to the end here, I really thank you. Leave comments about your thoughts and stuff. Also, if you're new to Dreams, check out some of the games I mentioned that made by us, and you can also surf around there and see some of the stuff other people put on there. And yeah, definitely try getting creative with it while it lasts. I don't know how long Dreams will live, but anyway, yeah, like and subscribe. That's really helpful. We appreciate everybody who does that. Likes are a big deal. You might not think. All you have to do is click, totally free. Subscribe's the same way. If you want to do something more depthful than that, you can actually become a monthly member over on our coffee. Oh, by the way, let's put those credits up, Marty, for our 1 monthly member so far. Right over here. Nice. And you can have your credits up if you're a monthly member. You can put your name up with the gentleman who just flew up into the sky. And that's a nice way to... Oh, there's also paintings. There's Art Pal, and I make digital art over there and post it. And it's print on demand, so you can go check out some of that. There's a lot of different art. There's some crazy, weird fantasy stuff, but I've also started recently adding in some just more natural nature scenes. I call the thing pure nature. If you're not into that weird stuff and you just want something to hang on your wall that might look nice to look at, like a normal person, you can get some of that nature stuff. But that's about it for now. Check out all that stuff. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. And this has been Billy Cultist. Bye-bye.